Hello, everybody. And it is Friday, July 24th. And typically we would be doing the Friday Power Lunch Live today at noon. But today we are on break because we are all working on the Big Ten Women's Summit that's coming up August 21st through 23rd in Tysons, Virginia. We have a lot of great content we're working on because we believe meeting in person is really key to our work. And I was saying this the other day to somebody who asked us about why we do the Women's Summit. Why is this so important? I go, because getting together is how we build relationships, how we build community, then how we eventually collaborate. And that's really powerful. A lot of people dismiss it. You don't get together with your, like, necessarily people you canvas with. Some people do, but people you postcard with, people that you totally are in a community with or a membership with, or you meet regularly, that really a lot happens around that table that you can work together, identify problems. It's really important. It's really healthy. So when we have the Friday Power Lunch, we also believe that weekly meeting, that weekly touch, is this really how we make sure that we are sort of coming together, seeing how we're doing, also sharing information. And I always liken it to like two ants when you walk across the floor, and they always stop and they go, because they're engaging and they're kind of passing information and telling the other people, like, hey, I went this way and it was really the way to go. And that's the same thing when you get together to convene. And the Women's Summit is one of those. This is our 10th year. The Friday Power Lunch, we try to meet weekly. It's persistence. It's always doing it. And it is like so important, that persistence, right? Resistance is great, but persistence and making sure that it's long-term is always great. But I was listening to these two researchers talk about a book that they just wrote on courage, and they interviewed 100 dissidents about how they survived authoritarianism. And the biggest thing they said was convening and getting together, because that made sense, right? To get together, and then make sure you're not all crazy. Make sure that you get together and you're like, okay, checking up on each other. But it is one way to survive and thrive. And so just make sure that you're doing that this weekend and constantly sort of making sure that you're not isolating, things get overwhelming, and join us, because we would love to have you. So I want to talk about next week because I'm super excited. We'll be back live at noon, our usual time, and we're going to have Laura Mayberry. She's executive director of Get Out the Vote PAC, with Renee Martin, the political director. And their mission is very similar to some of ours, which is to connect with low propensity voters. And I think that we always think about this, especially in this election and all these elections, why people aren't engaging, why they're not voting. And this is always, when we look at sort of congressional district, let's say one in Virginia, and you may be from another state, have the same issue. But we know in that state that it's a Republican district right now, but it actually has enough Democratic voters and they're just not voting. So we're really interested to talk to Get Out the Vote PAC about that. And we also are excited to welcome Jessica Reynolds, and she is the vice chair, Warren County Democratic Committee, and the vice chair for community engagement for the DPVA Rural Caucus. The rural input on this is so key. When we talk about collaborating, this is where we need to make sure, like when we're doing our work, we're talking to our rural partners, and they have so much insight about what they do to engage people in their community. And they also, we want to talk about candidates, when candidates run in rural areas, some of their challenges, and sometimes how do you make sure when people want to step up to run and you say to them, well, you may not win, but we need you to run. So we're going to talk to Jessica about all the challenges, and actually, I think a lot of opportunities and what we can learn from our partners in different parts of the state. So I'm very excited about that. But when we talk about low propensity voters, and I want to circle back to somebody who's coming to the Women's Summit, Emily White. She's awesome. She's the CEO and she's the founder of Impact Data and Events. And what she has found is a really creative way to attract low propensity voters, not by sort of try to go put a table in the middle of a shopping center to attract them, but actually she used data. She used data and things that they're interested in. So she builds the things that they're interested in, like a concert, and then works with the entertainer, and they build an event after they have looked at the data to say, hey, this is really popular music or artist people are listening to. So let's build this event, invite them to the event, even get them in for free and then follow them the whole time, especially during voting season, to check in with them. But really, I think it's cool how they're using the data to actually see where people are engaging, what they're watching, what they're reading, and then building it from there. So you're really looking at their interests instead of trying to figure out, like going door to door or trying to engage them on civic stuff, but get them in the door. And then you have your audience to talk to about why it's so important to be civically engaged. And the artist kind of stays engaged with that. So I'm pretty excited about bringing that to y'all. So I want to say that I hope you're doing well. I am down in North Carolina. It is raining. Been raining here, but I kind of enjoying that with my family, taking a kind of break. But I'm still working. But I wanted to say that I hope you have a wonderful day. We won't be live at noon, but we will be back next week. And get your ticket to the summit. I can't say that. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be wonderful. We're working with getting really great speakers there, and we're still in the mix of trying to get some surprise speakers. But I'm really excited about Denver Riggleman coming, a former Republican who has been following. Talk about data. Really going to talk about the corruption of this administration because he has the receipts. Michael Fanone has experienced the violence on the other end of these, I would say, mob monsters, and talk about somebody personally affected. Great to have Michael in the room. And also, I love that Harry Dunn, who was one of the officers on site on January 6th, will be joining us. And guess what? He's running for Congress. And I love how people take their experience and kind of move it into some way into action. So I think, we'll see Emily White there. Like I said, the CEO trying to find those low propensity voters too. Tom Bonnier, which we love Tom from Target Smart, is going to be part of that panel because talk about data again, the voter file, what's going on with, what we could be doing better. We see this all the time with, the Democratic Party. Information is key, and how we reach people is key, and communication is key. So we'll be talking about all those important factors. So listen, I'll let you go. I'm going to go back to my work, and I hope you have a great day. And again, get your ticket, check in with us next week, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, and we're great to see you. Have a good one.